is up, boys? Oh, my chat's not on. Hold on just a second, guys. Let me get my chat on. There we go. Holy shit. So I don't really know. I don't even know. This live is probably not going to be that long. I don't have a whole lot of information yet. But like one of the fears that we've always had with these different sovereign groups has come to light. But I'm very echoey here. Let me see. Maybe that should get rid of that echo. Oh, no, when I was talking about my chat, I was talking about like me being able to see your guys' words. I forgot to pull that up. So our sovereigns, though, that we've been following, our group of sovereign citizens, and specifically in this situation, Chris Hallett and Kirk Pendergrass, that started EClause. And EClause has now been tied to multiple kidnappings. They basically promise nonsensical legal solutions for whatever issue you have. And just not that long ago, one of the kidnappings that was tied back to their group was Neely Blanchard. She lost her child. Her child was in her mother's custody. And what happened was she went and she took the child. Chris Hallett and Kirk Pendergrass were directly tied to this. And now I got a message this morning, and I don't want to say who that's from, but it's a very reliable source. This is 100% confirmed. Neely Blanchard is now held in prison, or in jail, for the murder of Chris Hallett last night. And this is actually the murder. The Marion County Sheriff's Office on their Facebook and Twitter both. So really all that's out. I'm waiting for a call back from Marion County right now as we speak to try and get a little bit more detail, see if there's like a self-defense situation, see if they can release any of that sort of information. But so far, what we have as far as public info that's been released by authorities is detectives made contact with everyone involved. Currently, detectives feel there is no threat to the public related to this shooting death investigation. At approximately 9 p.m., Marion County Sheriff's Office deputies responded to a call in reference to shots fired at a home in the Marion Oaks area. When they arrived at the home, they located a white male who was deceased. Right now, major crimes detectives are on scene investigating. When we have more information, we will update. And then if you hop over to their Twitter, you're basically going to get the same thing. Around 9 p.m., sorry, I have a kitten. Around 9 p.m., MCSO deputies responded to a call regarding shots fired at a home in the Marion Oaks area. When deputies arrived, a white male was found deceased. Major crimes detectives are investigating. When we have more information, we will update. And the update, detectives have made contact with everyone. Currently, detectives feel there's no threat to the public. What I was told was this actually happened last night. So, yeah, yesterday. But, yes, as of right now, Neely Blanchard is being held for the murder of Chris Hallett. Which, again, is just crazy. Chris Hallett is part of EClause that was like Neely Blanchard. When she was pulled over, her car, her tags even said EClause on them. I mean, she was deep into the EClause thing. Kirk Pendergrass and Chris Hallett both, they prey on weak people for different reasons. They just promise this nonsensical legal stuff. It doesn't work. Like, that's why they basically bailed out on Field McConnell in Florida. Timothy Homeseth, they have an arrest warrant out for him. Kirk Pendergrass himself has a warrant out for his arrest currently. And then there's like Cynthia Absig, who was arrested for planning to kidnap her child from their foster family. And then Neely, who actually did kidnap her child. And it was 100% tied back to EClause and just that whole group. So it's not clear what happened last night. The original source that got a hold of me said that Chris and Kirk were involved in she believes that they were involved in some very, very bad shit. And Neely claimed that she had, it's still very lost in translation at the moment, but there's claims that Neely had stumbled upon some of this. It's still not clear what exactly happened last night, but as of now, Neely Blanchard is held in charge for the murder of Chris Hallett, which is crazy. We've been saying for a while this was going to lead to somebody getting killed, and I gotta admit, I didn't expect it to be Chris or Kirk to be the ones to get killed, but and a very, I don't even know. These groups, they keep on leaving me at a loss of words all around. You're talking about a group that's been tied to so many different kidnappings and everything, and now I don't know, but this is the sort of dangers from listening to these people and following these people and letting this really just evidenceless, factless conspiracy shit get in your head and just twisting your thoughts and your line of thinking. Like, these are some of the possible outcomes that can come from it. This is a bad situation. This was a bad situation, actually. This was a bad situation that just went to worse. So I'm waiting for media relations out in Marion County, Florida, to get back with me. It may take them a little bit before they have an actual release ready and they decide what all they are going to release to the public, since obviously this is an active investigation. Neely's been charged, but now we start the legal proceedings of her heading towards court and everything like that. So I know the information is going to be limited, but I'm curious if it was like a self-defense incident or, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe she realized they were full of shit and she just lost it. They've been promising her hope and, getting her into more legal problems than they have been helping. So, in all honesty, maybe she was just pushed to her limit and she ended up shooting Chris last night. That part there's probably going to be a lot of gaps in this for a while, but I did feel like it was important to go ahead and come out and at least get this out right now. And I wanted to get that out before, like, Kirk and them are able to put their own twist on whatever other words or anything like that. There's a lot of different things that could have went down here, but a lot of it, it all boils down to all these people are, especially Chris and Kirk, they're doing shit they have no business doing. They claim that they can audit courts. They claim that they're these legal professionals. They're not. Like, they're not in any sense of the form. The only, or any sense of the word, they have literally caused nothing but more legal problems for anybody that they have gotten involved with. And that's publicly. I mean, God only knows the shit that they've done to people that are scared to come forward. So it's not exactly shocking to see if the situation that she was just fed up. She realized that she had been lied to. They weren't getting her kids back. that's not a surprising scenario at all. That's one of those, like, it was bound to happen because you're fucking with people's lives. You're lying to them, you're giving them false hope. I mean, that's one of the worst things you can do to someone is give them false hope that you're going to get their child back in their custody. I hope people will take this as a warning when it comes to these different groups. I don't know. But as this continues to develop and we get some more information, I'll definitely keep updated on this one. Neely is one of those ones that we've been following. I believe I even have a live on this channel about it. I'm not really using the site much these days, but I did in the description put up an article related to Neely's arrest, which that's actually what we were scrolling through here. And like just the different links between all of them, Kirk Pendergrass, Chris Hallett, Field McConnell, all of these different lunatics that have come together to create this situation. I guess we'll call it, for lack of better words. I can say, though, with 100% confidence that this is what is happening at this moment, though. So Neely is held right now, and I believe she's waiting for extradition is what I'm told. But she's being held, and this Marion County shooting, that's Chris Hallett that they're talking about there. Yes, Kathy, that happened last night. Again, I don't want to tell my initial source that reached out to me about this, but she's a trustworthy source. And then above that, like I've seen the booking at this point. She is in custody. This happened. So some of the people that don't know this story might not understand why this is so shocking, but people that have followed me for a while, we have been following this group for a very long time. And so anybody that's been following this group and keeping up with these group of sovereign scammers, this is pretty mind-blowing. Especially the fact that and Neely's arrest was so bad. When she got arrested, what month was that? Let's see. In March. March was when Neely was arrested for kidnapping her child. When Neely got arrested, it was to the point where the Secret Service was even involved in her actual arrest. So that's how serious this group is getting as well, because you got to remember, they're running around the country telling people they can audit courts. They're telling people they're involved with the United States government. They're really going above and beyond. So, and I don't know. And Neely was one of their biggest followers. She was like one of their biggest supporters. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm honestly at a bit of a loss of words just from following these people and trying to stop these people and trying to get people to listen before something like this happened. And now here we are. I mean, it happened. So I don't know. Hopefully Kirk takes heed from this. You can't. Hopefully all of them take heed from this. You can't toy with people's lives like this. You can't toy with people's lives like this just to make a quick buck, just to make social media fame. You can't do that. And people that are out there, if you have a CPS case, if you have a criminal case, anything like that, you can't just. I understand it's frustrating and feels hopeless at times, and you're desperate. You can't just reach out to people on Facebook. Like, this is your life you're talking about. So make sure that they're licensed. They know what they're talking about. Show proof. Show proof of history of successful whatever it may be, because these guys are all over the place. They hop from bankruptcy to criminal cases to CPS cases. So make sure that they have a positive track record when it comes to these situations. You can't just throw your life into the hands of some random person on Facebook because they say that they can do whatever it is they claim that they can do. So again, don't know a lot of the deep details. It could be anything where from Neely realizing that Chris and Kirk were lying to her and she just out of rage shot him. It could be that maybe she did know, because I guarantee you between them, Sarah Dunklin and all of them, this whole crazy group, they're involved in some dirty shit. Like, we all know that they're involved in dirty shit. There's no questions that these guys aren't involved in dirty shit. Like Timothy Homeseth, he's a scumbag. He's a fucking scumbag. Field McConnell is a scumbag. This whole group has been tied together. David Jose, Francesca Amato, all these people have been stealing from people, encouraging people to take their kids and basically traffic them through their own little circles of people. So, you know, this is what we only know publicly. This is what we know from past people. I guarantee there's people that are scared to come forward. I guarantee there's people that know information that aren't coming forward yet. So maybe Neely did know more than she should, and maybe her and Chris got into it over that. And again, that's why I'm waiting for that call back from Marion County to see if there's any signs of self-defense, anything like that. Because, yeah, maybe she confronted Chris over some very dark stuff, and maybe it just escalated. There's really no telling right at this moment how exactly that played out. And that's the thing, Sandra, I guarantee you I fucking guarantee that there are things we don't know about that are much, much worse. I can almost guarantee that just from these people's behavior and just how they prey on people. If you're at the point where you're preying on parents that have kids in state custody, regardless, you know, I think regardless of them being good or bad parents, that, like, unless they're the worst of the worst, it's got to be rather distressing to lose a child. So it's really preying on very vulnerable people. So I feel like people that are capable of preying on those sort of vulnerable people are capable of just about anything. But yeah, this is pretty crazy, because I think all of us expected an arrest before anything like this. I think a lot of us did expect at some point these guys were going to get somebody killed, but again, I don't think any of us expected that it was going to be one of them that got killed by one of their clients. So, I mean, but just be careful all around. And Kirk, David Jose, Francesca Amato, all of you people, if you come across this, man, take a lesson from this. Like, quit pushing these people, quit toying with these people. Go just find something legitimate to do. And stop fucking up people's lives. That's one of the morals of this story, honestly. At one point I heard she was having affairs with these guys like Pendergrass and Hallett. That could be. That 100% could be. And again, it wouldn't be shocking at all to find out that she did it just straight up because they fucked up her life. Because they did fuck up her life. Don't get me wrong. Neely had issues. Like, Neely did not come into this like just a normal church-going, beautiful Christian woman. She had issues. She had serious issues and arrests and shit dating long back. So it's not like she came into this innocent, but she was also a perfect victim for someone like Chris Hallett and someone like Kirk Pendergrass. So again, one of my first thoughts is that maybe she just finally realized how full of shit they were. Like, I, I, I think there's a fairly decent chance that maybe she finally realized how full of shit they were, and that they, before Chris Hallett and Kirk Pendergrass got involved, she definitely wasn't facing charges like she was now, or is now. And that goes for not just this murder arrest, but before this with the kidnapping arrest. This all happened once Chris and Kirk got involved. And again, Timothy Homeseth, even though he's a piece of shit, he has a warrant for his arrest once Chris and Kirk got involved. Field McConnell is off in Broward County, Florida, being held after Chris and Kirk got involved. Like, it's not like this isn't hard to figure out at this point. Like, EClause, Chris and Kirk, they have no clue what they're fucking talking about. They come in with their sovereign nonsense and they ruin people's lives. So this is, it is what it is. I don't know how long it'll be before Marion County will get back to me. I imagine Neely's probably going to be extradited, and I'm not sure where the extradition is. That's another thing that I want to ask Marion County about. I definitely want to ask about that, because I'm told that she's being held for extradition right now, so I'm not sure if she was picked up elsewhere, which I'm guessing she probably did leave the area. Just looking at what the Marion County Sheriff's Office has released so far, the fact that they located a white male deceased, and then they waited to update, which actually here, that can kind of tell us a little bit. So the initial tweet was 13 hours ago, and then they updated 4 hours ago. So it sounds like quite possibly Neely did flee the scene, and then they did catch her outside of Marion County. And that would explain that extradition. I still need to check for sure which jail she's held in. I've just been given a confirmation that she's in custody for this. So apparently that makes a bit of sense then. She, off the top of my head, I would guess that around 9 p.m. the shooting occurred, and then she probably fled the area, got caught up outside of there, and now they're getting ready to try and extradite her back to Marion County for the charge of murder. Didn't Chris live with his mother? I'm not sure if Chris lived with his mother. I do have an address all of that appears to match at the moment. And like I said, this could be a minute before Marion County gets back with me, just because it sounds like, with their last update being 4 hours ago, it sounds like this is still probably pretty developing on their end. I'm sure they don't have all of the public, or they haven't even decided what all they can release to the public at this point, and that goes back to that whole murder investigation and everything like that. I did see somebody earlier was asking me if Neely was on the run, and I don't believe that she was on the run. She may have been. I hadn't checked on her recently since she was arrested back in March for that kidnapping. So I don't know. I don't think she was on the run, though. Any person praising his death is a royal evil piece of shit. Go fuck yourself. Yeah, which I'm not praising his death at all. I'm sure there's many people that are going to praise his death, but I'm more saying it's not exactly super shocking. I mean, it is, don't get me wrong. I thought somebody was going to get killed, but if you really think about it, when these guys are fucking up people's lives, somebody's going to get sick of it. So, I don't know. And then, like I said, the other part, from what I've told, is that Neely's scared. I've been told that Chris and Kirk were involved in some worse shit, and she quite possibly found out about it, and that somehow led to this ending. I obviously don't have any confirmation on that, but it's, yeah, I mean, it could go either way. The guys, Chris and Kirk, helped her get arrested for kidnapping her kid. You know, she's facing some serious charges over that. So, I mean, they did fuck up her life. And just maybe it did come to that point where she realized they weren't helping her. They were full of shit. They were 100% full of shit. And again, Neely had issues long before this. Neely has a arrest history with violence and shit. There's nobody's saying that she's a hero in this situation. Nobody's saying that she's an innocent angel in this situation. She was a perfect victim for Kirk and Chris. She believed all their bullshit and ate it right up. And she ate it up to the point of getting that kidnapping charge and now this murder charge. But yeah, as of right now, that is confirmed. Neely's held for the murder of Chris Hallett. And these Facebook posts and these Twitters from Marion County Sheriff's Office is that's who they're referring to. Who reported this? I'm reporting this. I'm not going to give you my source. I can say, though, that it's a reliable source at this point. It's 100% a reliable source. Vicky, it's still new news. It's just starting to spread. Like on some of the EClause posts, you're starting to see rest in peace, Chris. But as far as it should be on local news in that Marion County, Florida. But right now it would just be a shooting last night while they're still putting together more public information. So, yeah, there's stories already. And then, I don't know, at this point, I don't know. Let me check their crime rate. I don't know if a murder, which this sounds shitty, but I don't know if a murder is a big enough deal in that order or in that area for that sheriff's office to spend too much time talking about it. Yeah, I don't know, man. They might address it a little bit more. I can't say for sure, though. They might just pass it off to local media guys. I'm sure local media will do follow-ups and whatnot. But I'm not sure if the Marion County Sheriff's Office will keep on staying on top of it, because it does look like there's some crime there. And unfortunately, in areas where you have those higher crime rates, things like murder, while it is serious, normally they're not going to sit there and keep on updating it every couple hours after a certain point. No, Linda, I fully agree. Neely was passed around by the fraud scammers, claiming to be advocates and legal advisors. She was. Neely was passed like all around these different groups. And Shar, yes, this is getting worse. This is so far past the point of being funny. This is so fucking far past the point of being funny. Like, these guys have no business getting involved in these cases and shit. These Kirk, Chris, David, Francesca, David Strait, Timothy Homeseth, none of these people have any fucking right to be getting involved in any of these people's lives. Like, these are the direct results of their actions. So, and the shitty thing is, I know their hardcore followers aren't going to give a shit what I have to say. Maybe one or two of them might listen and be like, okay, this is getting a little fucked up. I'm going to pull off this. I just hope, if anything, like, new people see this and realize the sort of shit that is coming from listening to these people, and they stay away, because this isn't okay. You directly linked to EClause, you have at least 2 arrests for kidnappings of parents that already didn't have their kids, and now you have a fucking murder. You have Field McConnell and Timothy Homeseth threatening a fucking lawyer in Florida over nothing for a decade as far as Timothy goes. And you have both of them on the run. You have their crazy followers trying to... I mean, this is fucking insane. This is 100% insane. This is not funny. This is serious. This is really fucking serious. And now one of these people have been murdered related to this whole situation. Because let's face it, regardless of the reasons behind the shooting or anything, if Chris and Kirk hadn't interjected themselves into Neely's case, this never would have happened. Neely wouldn't have been arrested going through their little circle of people to hide her fucking kid. And I can damn sure assure you that Neely wouldn't have just randomly went and murdered Chris Hallett if they weren't connected already, if they didn't introduce themselves into her situation without any fucking reason to do so. If there's even just one, like Timothy Homeseth's charges, I mean, they're not good, but they're not the worst in the world. So if they couldn't even get that cleared up without him getting a warrant, like, they don't know what they're talking about. They just don't know what they're talking about. The proof is there. They've publicly shown what they can do legally for people, and it's nothing. Like, Kirk forever tried to brag about some speeding ticket or some shit he got thrown out. That's great. If you fight a traffic ticket long enough, there's a good chance you can get it dropped, because it's not fucking worth the fight as far as the state goes. When it comes to these actual serious cases, none of them have done anything. There is no proof of their work. They just do these lives where they throw out that crazy they're like a mix of sovereign and just pure insanity. Some of the things that Chris Hallett would post, some of those fucking crazy ass, like, just words and lines everywhere, and then they come up with their crazy ass way of explaining it. None of it's true. None of it's accepted in court. It's not true. Oh, he was. Last I heard, he was helping her with all her legal cases, that she was learning the crap he pushes. Wonder if she found out it was a scam. That's where I am right now. Because again, and you know what I was told from my source is that Chris and Kirk were involved in some way worse shit than we know about, and that Neely discovered some of this, and that could be what led to this, and that could be correct. Because again, I think all these people are probably involved in way worse shit than we know about. But at the same time, I could see Neely figuring out that they're full of shit. I mean, I'd be mad. You would be mad if you'd been lied to this long. You found out that now you have kidnapping charges against you, serious kidnapping charges that guys you just for at least a year now, the guys you put all your faith into of getting your child home, completely lied to you. Like, that's gonna piss someone off. I get it. I can see all sides of how this possibly happened. Slavin had a fling, and see, that's I somewhat remember Neely from going around to all the like different groups and whatnot. Like, it wasn't just the EClause guys. And I mean, even her Facebook shows that there was definitely some issues. Well, no, Vicky, and I agree. Like a normal person wouldn't be mad enough to kill, but once you got your head so clogged up with all that nonsense, because I mean, let's face it, a normal person isn't going to go kidnap their child from their mother, um, and then go on the run and have the Secret Service have to go get involved. So, go look at her Facebook. Let me see. She might have me blocked. I believe she got pissed at me. Which, and for you guys that don't know, I'm like using a different browser right now because my main Facebook account is in Facebook jail. But I believe Neely got pretty pissed off at me around that whole her getting arrested for kidnapping. Oh, no, okay. Or at least she doesn't have this account blocked. I haven't looked at her account for a little while. I don't know. But I mean, and yeah, right there you can see. Oh, there's a Chris Hallett comment 5 weeks ago. Loss prevention, EClause, which again, EClause, that's Chris Hallett and Kirk Pendergrass's little thing. That's what they claim they're going to save you legally with, and whatever the fuck they think they're doing. I do know for a fact, like Chris Hallett, or not Chris, Kirk, he blocks every single account I have. So some of this stuff she shared out, and then some of his followers do the same. So some of the stuff, if she shared out, then we probably won't be able to see it. It's the other page. It's, so what, does she have more than one account? Because this is a Shannon that posted and then tagged all of them. And 5 comments. Okay, so I am seeing all the comments. Yeah, this is a November 14th post that you're talking about, but Shannon Mutter-Tanis is who posted this and then just tagged all them. The other 2 people that she tagged was Chris Hallett and Neely. On 11/8, let me see if... okay, I don't even know what she's on about there. Yeah. November 8th, this is what I needed. The water dolphins in the sun, and it's her on a beach. Well, no, and that's exactly what I'm saying. Like the whole, they're toying with people's lives to make a quick buck. They're scamming people, but you know, this isn't. They're not selling broken vacuums. Like they're fucking with people's lives. Neely was looking at jail time because they got involved, and now she's looking at even more jail time since they got involved. That's why I don't know, and I mean maybe there was like some sort of love triangle weird shit going on too. That, you know, those are details that it'll probably take a minute. Yeah, no, and I don't expect a whole lot from the sheriff's office. Like I said, I'm waiting for a call back from their actual media rep. I'm just wondering if they got like any more info, like if there's any, even a sign of just anything else or what. And so at this point, I believe she wasn't even allowed to see her kids anymore after the kidnapping thing. Yeah, we might as well scroll through her page for a little bit. Kind of see what was leading up to this moment. 222, dark to light. I have been seeing this number for weeks. Now I know why. It has always been about preserving the family, mother, father, child, the rule of three. I am so grateful for my journey. It has made me into who I am today. I have been seeing it for a few months now, all the time. I've been seeing 222 also. We need to connect. I am protecting my mental state by not watching any mainstream media TV channels tonight. You better watch out. They might try and say you're incompetent under the 25th Amendment. Oh. I'm not sure. Is anybody from the Beatty group in the comments right now? If anybody's out there from the Beatty group, could you tell me, like, have you guys been following the Neely case? Actually, here, I'll go check real quick. Let's see if there's any, because that group's pretty good about staying on top of different cases and whatnot. Let me see if I can find any of Neely's recent court dates. I don't think they have been. Hey, Kathy, Lauren, have you guys been keeping up with Neely's court at all? Like, are any of her docs in there? Do you know where she was in her kidnapping case? I'm not finding. Yeah, see, I'm not seeing any either. So I don't know. I know at one point there was like a weird thing going on where John Goddamn Gentry was trying to take over the case or some shit. Like, I don't know. That whole situation got weird. I don't know if like John Gentry and Chris and Kirk were all on bad terms now or what exactly was going on there. John Gentry is obsessed with the idea of doing remonstrances against everything. Oh, here's her actually talking on the second. Guys.
Many Americans take for granted every single day. People of this great nation, it's time to stand up tomorrow. Tomorrow, you get to exercise your right to vote, which many Americans to protect.
Agent 19, I can promise at this moment this is verified. I'm not announcing my source. Which here I'm probably echoing. I'm not announcing my source at this point, but it's very it's verified.
And defend my daughter. And to teach my daughter. Because God gave me my daughter. God did not give anybody else my daughter. God gave me my daughter because I prayed for her. So, I was arrested in May 2nd, 2013, and my rights were stripped from me unlawfully. My right to vote, my right to carry a firearm, to protect myself from the evil men and women who were seeking to destroy my life and my family. Well, I have a message for them. I'm strong, I'm going, I'm still fighting, and I'm still fighting every day because God promised me that if I would keep my faith, that He would bless me and He would give me back my daughters. And I want you to know, Christians, and this is for Christians, and this is for the people of this nation. Exercise your vote. Do not think that your voice doesn't matter. Your voice matters, and there's a lot of people out there that are thankful just to be able this year to exercise their right to vote. I'm one of those people. I haven't been able to vote since 2013 and exercise my right. This year, I voted for the first time, and of course, I voted for Donald Trump. Christians, we're at a crossroad. Churches, pastors, it's time to stand up. It's time to speak out. This president has protected and is protecting unborn children and the rights of our voices, the rights of Christians all over, and not just here, all over the world. Just look at the records. Look at everything going on. Wake up. It's time to wake up, church. Let your conscience be the determining factor tomorrow when you vote and you go in there and you pray before you go in there and you vote. And for all the people out there that's not going to go vote, I implore you to exercise your right. These are rights that our founding fathers, when they created this nation, they had an idea in mind, that process, that democratic process, and the people have just forgot about that process. Get involved. Find out who's on the ballot. Vote for people that have the same values as yourself. This election is the most important election that we have ever faced. I believe we've ever faced ever. And I know that God's will be done. But I just want to let you know, if somebody's out there that's hearing this now, that's not going to go vote, please pray about it. And I'm asking you to change your mind and exercise the right that many people take for granted every single day. God bless, and God bless America. God bless this country. God bless our leaders. God bless the families. God bless the children. God bless our churches. This nation, it's time to stand up. It's time to stand up and wake up and get out of this darkness that you've been under, because the controlling forces of darkness has not wanted you to know these truths. These truths are coming to light. And let that little light shine. Because when those little lights shine, a big light shines. Make America great again.
Okay, so from that, I feel like it's pretty safe to assume that she was not taking that kidnapping charge and that arrest serious at all. That doesn't look like it really changed anything. For anybody coming in and like Agent 19, Monty, and all you guys I know have been following this harder. I don't think you were here at the beginning. So this is about as much detail as I will go into as far as where this was first brought to my attention. Somebody very close to Neely reached out to me just about an hour or two ago, asking to help out in this situation. And I can tell you at this time that I've seen Neely's booking. The shooting is not being identified yet, but in different groups you can already start seeing rest in P, Chris comments and whatnot on posts. These from the Marion County Sheriff's Office is actual shooting. And that's on Facebook and on Twitter both. So right now it would look like the shooting happened 9 p.m. last night, and then they didn't update until 4 hours ago. So it appears that the shooting happened and then she most likely left the area, because what I'm told is right now she's waiting on extradition and she's charged for the murder of Chris Hallett. And that goes back to now the details. And just to catch people up to speed, we don't know the exact details. I was told that Chris and Kirk are involved in some really bad shit. And so there's a possibility that Neely stumbled upon that and something happened between her and Chris that led to this shooting point. Another theory, just because, and it's not knocking her, it's not just discrediting her or anything, but obviously Neely has a questionable history and questionable beliefs. I believe that there's most likely some mental illness. So maybe that's what she was perceiving. I could also see her realizing that maybe they were full of shit and just losing it and taking it out. And then there's also, I've seen people in the comments talking about possible affairs and whatnot. It could be a lover's quarrel sort of deal. It's, as of right now, I will say the source that reached out to me it's not, I don't want to say who it is, but I believe her. And I'm still even getting info as we speak, but I have no reason to doubt this at this moment. The reason for reaching out to me even was not, I'm not being punked right now or anything. I think we just finally saw what a lot of us, and again, that's why I even took time to re-explain all this. Agent 19, Monty, you guys in the comments, I know you fuck with this specific group. You guys have done more work than I have with some of these assholes. And this is 100%, I think, what people were trying to avoid, was trying to get people to realize how serious this was and not to listen to these predators, so that this did not escalate to this point where someone lost their life. Because I think deep down all of us knew somebody was going to lose a life over this. At some point it was going to happen. I think all of us knew that deep down, but nobody wanted it to. And I mean, even with thinking Chris and Kirk are, just terrible people that prey on the weak. I didn't hope that either of them got murdered, especially not murdered by one of their quote unquote clients. But again, these guys are really fucking with people's lives. So, that's one of the reasons why I just wanted to repeat that for everybody or some of the people that joined this, just because of the fact that, and honestly, like, I mean, fuck, Agent 19, he's been on Kirk's ass, man. He's handed Kirk his ass a few times. He's done a good job of trying to get people to listen and stay away from these people. Same with Monty. Monty's done a good job of showing why people need to stay away from these people. This is serious. This is 100%. This has been serious, like, since Cynthia Absig was arrested. Don't get me wrong, it was serious when they were just lying and taking people's money. But once Cynthia Absig was arrested, this really started to take a dark turn. Then you had everything with Sarah Dunklin and shit. And then you had Neely's original arrest for her kidnapping. That, like, this has been serious for a really long time. And, like, this isn't really one of those mainstream stories. Granted, like, Daily Beast, I've talked with the Daily Beast now because, like, Timothy Homseth and some of these, like, kidnappings that are getting more mainstream attention, some of us have been watching these little guys before that mainstream attention because we saw the seriousness of it, and we saw the seriousness long ago. This had serious issues written all over it for a very long time. This had every warning sign, every red flag out there that this sort of thing was going to come from these people, and this sort of behavior, and this sort of ridiculous, just nonsense. The promises of fixing their lives, it's mind blowing all around. Well, Chris did take advantage of women and children. In my opinion, Chris, Kirk, David Jose, Field McConnell, Timothy Homseth, Francesca Amato, they take advantage of anybody they can. I don't think it matters if it's a woman or a child. They take advantage of anybody that will listen to them. And again, like, Kirk has a warrant for his arrest right now. So far, them getting involved has only ended in more legal problems. Timothy Homseth has a warrant after they got involved. Field McConnell isn't even allowed online after they got involved. Francesca Amato, her kid's dad has custody now. I mean, like, these people aren't doing anything publicly. It's the proof is out there at this point. Cynthia Absig is facing serious charges. Chris and Kirk, regardless of what happened now, Chris and Kirk weren't going to fucking court for Cynthia Absig. They weren't going to go sit in jail for Cynthia Absig. Chris and Kirk weren't going to fucking court for Neely. They weren't going to jail for her. Like, they're fucking up people's lives. Tina, that's because that just happened last night. Like, this is pretty up to the moment. I debated on even doing this live this early, but in all honesty, I'm also hoping that some of the people that come across this, like, man, now's the time to speak up. Like, if you do know some of the darker shit that's been going on with these guys, like, now's really the time to speak up before anybody else gets hurt. Like, this has gone way too fucking far. This has gone way too fucking far. Like, I mean, my God, dude, you guys, we're talking about serious charges. We're now talking about murder. We're talking about kids being kidnapped and shit. Like, this is not cute. This isn't funny. This is really fucking serious. Oh, Randy Erickson. Yeah, no, Randy Erickson needs a bit more attention because I tell you what, there's blood on Randy Erickson's fucking hands, and she's been saying back in the shadows for a while now, uh, and rightfully so, which is fine because she won't sit in the shadows forever. Randy's got her hands in a lot more shit than I think even some of us that have been following this knows. Okay, so there is a pretty strong chance, which we're going into like personal life there. I can't obviously fully confirm this sort of stuff, but there's a pretty strong chance that there was some sort of love affair going on between the two as well. So, which that all around is a recipe for disaster. You're talking about giving phony legal advice and dating the person. God only knows if they were getting money from Neely. Neely was one of EClause's biggest fans. Oh, David Straight, 100%. David Straight is another one that really, David Straight, Randy Erickson, both of them, they're hiding in the shadows. They haven't really been getting enough shit. David Straight's tied to so many of these people. And if you'll remember, David Straight, he's the one that claims that he works directly for President Trump for the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force with Timothy Homeseth and shit. I believe when Field McConnell used to talk about he was one person away from the president, I'm pretty sure David Straight was one person away from the president that he was referring to. David Straight, he stays pretty quiet. But David Straight, I mean, same thing as Randy. There's blood on David Straight's hands. Which, and by the way, in case anybody, I've spoke to the Pentagon. They sent me a statement that I've released in an article saying the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force does not exist. Like 100% does not exist. That wouldn't even, I could tell they were even confused when I explained it to them and asked about it because they were kind of like that. That doesn't make sense of why it would even be a Pentagon pedophile task. That's not what we do. We're not a pedophile task force going around in tunnels under America rescuing trafficked kids. So that's, yeah, I mean, they're all full of shit. But yeah, David Straight is another one. Like in all this, they've created a horrifying situation that now we're really seeing the seriousness of the different consequences. And this is actually the Marion County Sheriff's Office. So if you guys want to sit for a minute, I'll talk to them and I'll come right back and tell you what they said. Okay, so that was Marion County Sheriff's Office. And yes, it's 100% confirmed. Chris Hallett is a victim. Neely Blanchard is in custody for the homicide at the moment. Neely was arrested in Georgia, so that's where the extradition is coming from. Right now, they're currently waiting to get her from Georgia back to Florida. The charge is homicide. At this point, because she's in Georgia, the Florida County Sheriff's Office, Marion County, have not had a chance to talk to her. They don't know her side of the story, so currently they can't say like a degree, first degree, second degree, anything like that. But as of right now, like 100% from the Marion County Sheriff's Office, she's in custody in Georgia. They're waiting to get her back to Florida. And then once they talk to her, that's when they'll start deciding the severity of the charges. So right now she's just held on homicide. And then, I don't know, what is it? It's Monday. I would imagine probably by the end of the week, we'll probably see what prosecution is looking at as far as what her charges will end up being. But yeah, so it sounds like our guess on the tweets were correct. That the shooting happened around 9 p.m. and then she left the area and went straight to Georgia. Now, the detective I just spoke to said that this is all, like, obviously very fresh. The shooting just happened at 9 o'clock. How did she make it to Georgia? She drove to Georgia, I'm guessing. Let's see real quick. It's 3 hours and 54 minutes to drive from Marion County to Georgia. So, again, the shooting happened at 9 p.m., and then Marion County didn't update until 4 hours ago that they had made contact with everybody. So, I mean, she had over 12 hours. So, yeah, she had over 12 hours to leave Marion County, Florida. So that's how she got to Georgia, was after the shooting. My guess is that she just drove. And obviously, how the states are set up, Georgia is where, I mean, obviously, that's, if you look at the map, there's kind of an obvious reason why you would go through Georgia first, getting out of Florida. Of course, there's a couple other options, but here, I can even show that map. So, like, yeah, going this way, it kind of makes sense why she was going that direction. It's just a straight shot out main highway. I'm sure she was panicked at that point. She probably wasn't just turning all over. She probably hopped on a highway and just fucking drove for roughly somewhere between 4 and 12 hours, because that's like the gap that we're looking at there, looking at the updates here. When it came, but the detective I just spoke to with Marion County, he basically said, like, even the arrest in Georgia and shit, they don't have a whole lot of information on that. He just confirmed that Chris Hallett was a victim and Neely Blanchard is who is in custody. And then, like I said, the charges have not been fully decided at this point. There is homicide, but once they get Neely back to Marion County and their people are able to talk to her and get her side of everything, see if there's, I did ask if there was any signs of self-defense, anything like that. He said that was information that is still not available at all. What county has her in Georgia? I'm not even sure what county has her in Georgia. I don't even think knew off the top of his head what county had her in Georgia. I have screenshot of her booking info. I don't think it has the county on there though. But at this point, like without a doubt whatsoever, that is what happened. Currently, Neely is held in Georgia for the murder of Chris Hallett and waiting to be extradited back to Florida so prosecutors can figure out her exact charges and everything like that. Let me see. I really don't think I have the county. Let me see what all I got here. No, I have like the very early one, and it was a crop screenshot. And I guess they just confirmed on Twitter. I was told just now by Will from Daily Beast. Update: the victim has been identified as Christopher Hallett. The suspect, Neely Petrie-Blanchard, has been arrested in Georgia. So anybody that was questioning it all, like I told you, I still am not going to name my source, but that's 100% confirmed, and now it's even confirmed on Twitter by the Marion County Sheriff's Office. So, did he have children? I am not sure that he had children. I don't believe. Well, actually, maybe Chris had children. Yeah, at this point, Agent 19, if you're still out there, any of you, just so you know, like, it is fully public now. Twitter 100% confirmed it through Marion County Sheriff's Office. And again, like, I still don't want to go into who my source was, but my source was a very reliable source. Oh, that's right. He did have a charge for not paying child support. I think they both do, actually, now that I think about it. Kirk, I believe, does as well. Oh, shit. Amber, I don't know, from your last comments, I don't even know if condolences are necessary. I'm sorry for the whole situation, then, especially if you were the daughter that, that's an Agent 19. What you just said is 100% correct. No one deserves to die over this garbage. I mean, he's right. And that's why I'd still say, like, this shit isn't cute. It's going way too far. This has gone way, way too far. Like, my God, y'all are talking about multiple kidnappings and now a murder, people getting warrants, people getting arrested. Like, you're talking about people's lives getting seriously fucked up over, like, conspiracy shit. Like, man, for the love of God, Kirk and Chris don't know the law. They were scamming people. Like, they were scamming people. Francesca Amato scams people. David Jose scams people. Timothy Holmes says scams people. David Strait scams people. Randy Erickson sits back there, and I don't know if she gets sick amusement from this or what, but this has gone too far. This has officially gone too far. And unfortunately, there's a lot of us that have been following this group for a while, which, again, I said this earlier, this hasn't really been a mainstream thing until, like, these kidnappings and shit. But there's a reason why some of us have been sticking with them, because we knew things were going to get bad. We knew somebody was going to get hurt. I didn't see this one coming, but it does make sense all around, especially when you consider the fact that, again, these guys aren't selling them like broken vacuums or anything. They're fucking with people's lives, like completely fucking with people's lives. So it's not completely surprising, but yeah, it shouldn't have gone to this point. It shouldn't have escalated to this point. This is so fucking far out of hand. It's not even funny. I really didn't expect that this is a live I would be doing. If you asked me even 2 months ago, even 6 months ago, a year ago, I wouldn't have told you this scenario right here. As far as somebody getting hurt, I could see that. I 100% could, because of the fact that they're screwing with people's lives. But I mean, that's so, I don't know, guys. We're probably days out before we know like any more details of like the actual shooting. But as of right now, I wonder if they updated their Facebook too. Yeah, so they updated the Facebook as well. This post last night. And yeah, now you're starting to see the sovereigns on the post. You got Malika Dulce here, which I've kind of seen some of her tagging Francesca Amato and shit. I imagine you'll start to see a whole bunch of their little groups and followers and shit starting to come to this post. But yeah, so they updated the Facebook in this post that they made last night. And it looks like, man, I feel like I'm going to screw that up. Lowndes, Georgia. Who was that? I was asking about where in Georgia. Who was that? Are you still out there? Whoever was asking where in Georgia. Because it looks like Lowndes, which I'm just going to post this in the comments. Yeah, I mean, whatever you guys are beefing about over in the YouTube comments, that's whatever. You called Neely and she confessed on tape. Oh yeah, no, I mean, the source I talked to this morning, I already knew it was correct. I mean, again, I don't want to say who I spoke to, but it was correct. I don't know. Honestly, all around it's just sad. And you know, one thing like Kirk, I've even said with Kirk, if he would have done this the right way, because I mean, the dude can talk. I've always said that about him. If he actually would have went through the proper channels and when he got a law degree and shit, he probably would have made a hell of a lawyer. Like, no bullshit at all. But he didn't. And instead he's full of shit. And I do agree. I don't think anybody should be celebrating the death at all. I don't think any of these people are good people. I think they're terrible fucking people. Like, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. Being able to prey on these sort of... being able to prey on the people that they prey on, they're terrible fucking people. They're terrible people. But I don't think this is exactly a celebration. I think people need to realize that this is what people have been warning about and people have been worried about, is that this shit has gone too far. like, for God's sake, your shit isn't getting shut down in court and all this because they're trying to suppress you because you get 7 likes on Facebook. It's because you're using bullshit law taught to you by sovereign scam artists. They're full of shit. It's not the government trying to shut down your Facebook page with 2,000 followers. It isn't. The conspiracies are great. I mean, if that's what you feel like you need to, it's great, but like, this is where it's going. Amanda, actually, Chris's daughter Amber is over on the YouTube chat, but Amanda just said that Chris has 2 children. Which again, Amber, I don't know your feelings on this. It sounds like it wasn't the greatest relationship, and that's why I say I'm just sorry for your circumstances all around. Not just like related directly to what happened last night, but it sounds like just your entire relationship with Chris. I'm sorry that I don't know what to say. But y'all do need to take this shit serious. Like, I don't know. We've been trying to show y'all like just how ridiculous this shit is. Because it is. I mean, some of the stuff that these guys preach, these affidavits that they push, that Fran and David and then we're pushing, and then the EClause blowing into this entire different beast where it's just it's nonsense. It's fucking nonsense. That's what it is. That's all you can call it. There's really no other word for it. It's Chris Hallett putting together memes where he draws on fucking blank pieces of paper and puts random words wherever he wants, and then Kirk feeds you a bunch of bullshit. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit. Like, you're worshiping false deities, and things are getting really, really bad. So we've got multiple people facing different charges around the country from this group of people. We now have a fucking murder from this group of people. I don't know what else it's going to take for people to see how fucking dangerous this group of people is. Like, I have no clue what else possibly you need to see. But I unfortunately think that this shit will continue going. And, it is what it is. The only bright side is some of them are starting to fall apart. Like, Francesca's falling apart. She doesn't have an audience anymore, so that's a plus. Some of these people are starting to get, like, just lose what little power they already had. David Jose, he doesn't have shit for a reach anymore. Yeah, I mean, Timothy Homseth and Randy Erickson, they're full of shit. They are full of shit. They're full of shit. There's no other way to put it. Like, Timothy Homseth is full of shit. He, on his YouTube, has used movie clips to claim fucking kids being mutated in tunnels under the fucking country. One of his, like, mentor people claimed Mike Pence used to rape him on a regular basis. Like, this shit is insane. It's... my God. I don't get it. Well, and, I did see somebody saying, reaching out to FBI about him, and I know that, like, and I believe there still is an investigation going on, but one thing is this very gray area of the law where these guys operate. Granted, Chris and Kirk were getting a lot more ballsy recently. They were getting a lot more ballsy. They were more crossing that line of saying that, claiming they audit courts and fucking really starting to stretch into that area of practicing law versus giving shitty advice, because that's one of the big problems. Most of these people operate in this very dark gray area where it's not clear that they're breaking the law. Like Francesca Amato with her little consultations and telling people what they should do, and going to California and taking $5,000 from Priscilla Wolf, whose grandparents over in Brazil actually paid for it. So technically she drove to California to steal $5,000 from an elderly couple overseas. There wasn't really anything illegal. They were really pushing it because even in Slavin's own words, David Jose helped him draft up the paperwork that they turned into the governor to try and make them stop moving her kid or whatever. But like they're not doing it. They're not acting as lawyers. They're not impersonating attorneys. They're more just giving this horrible, shitty advice, and people are eating it up and going for it. So that's where it's just this very dark gray area of the law. People have free will to not listen to this sort of horrible advice. But unfortunately, people also have free will to listen to this horrible advice. So they're in this area where it's not really practicing law. It's more just giving advice. Like Chris and Kirk, they do their little Kirk's Law Corner thing where they just give people shitloads of horrible fucking advice. It's there's nothing illegal about that. Like right now, I can tell everybody on this live to never show up for court again, and that's not anything illegal. It's like the worst fucking advice I could possibly give you, but it's up to you if you take that or not. So that there's nothing that stops me from telling you guys, hey, no matter what you get arrested for, never go to court again. Never in your life go to court again. It's up to y'all if you listen to that or not, and I can't be held accountable for that for shit, really. It's they're in just such a weird gray area. But again, I do think they're all involved in some dirtier shit. I'm sure, like Chris and Kirk especially, I'm sure are involved in a lot dirtier shit. Like Fran's fallen off a bit. I did see David Jose's going a bit more psychotic into the sovereign shit with that Josh Barnett dude, the dude that ran for Congress or whatever the fuck he did. I don't know. I tried to get Josh to come on a live with me, and he never responded. But like Fran has backed off a bit. David Straight, I think, is still doing like his same role because he's always kind of kept in the shadows a bit. He does his little like public speaking and shit like that, but he's not like any of these other guys of like constantly going Facebook Live and blah blah blah. Then what? Last I knew, Timothy Homeseth is like kicked off of a bunch of social media, and then you got Randy Erickson, who's kind of gone a little more vocal over these last months or so. But there's more people involved in this, so I'm sure there's other dirty shit going on. I do not know if Neely had anybody with her. I do know from the original source that I spoke to today that her car was impounded and everything, and supposedly documents were taken out of the vehicle that showed this bad stuff that Chris and Kirk were doing, which that's just what I was told. Again, I don't fully look at Neely as a reliable source of information for obvious reasons. And then watching that video from her page on... son of a bitch, did I refresh it? What was that? That was like November 2nd. So, I mean... just listening how she was talking on November 2nd, still talking about that light to dark shit and blah, blah, blah. The, like, truther fucking, like, soft pillow talk for fucking sovereigns and conspiracy kiddos. it sounds like her head was about in the same place. Like that kidnapping arrest and shit didn't really change anything. Actually, I wonder, because we were going through there, then just kind of stopped. Man, that is fucking crazy. That is not the fucking information I expected to get today or any day. So it looks like she got pretty big on election stuff. October 30th. Neely's blog, 10/30/2020. I have always struggled with my weight. Being separated from my daughters unlawfully has caused it to get worse over the years. I eat when I am depressed. It is time to start talking about all the health problems severe trauma causes for both child and parent from wrongful separation. It has to be addressed. Family court continues to affect people's health. I tried to start running a few weeks ago and was having problems with my lower legs. Severe cramping, pain, swelling, so I scheduled an appointment to have an ultrasound with a vein specialist to see if my blood was flowing okay. My results were perfect. The doctor said I have perfect veins and beautiful legs. I am thankful for that. I scheduled an appointment with a physical therapist and I am waiting for them to call me to schedule an appointment. I am determined to lose weight so I can feel more confident with myself. I have to pick myself up every day from the pain I am experiencing with the loss of my daughters and the painful experience of not being able to speak or see them. I went to a weight loss clinic and saw another doctor yesterday, and he was put on a plan. I have to stay under 1,200 calories a day, under 70 grams of carbs a day, and keep my protein a little over 6. Okay, so this is like... Which, by the way, I don't know if I have some of her past arrests in this article. Let me skim through here, because this was back in March. I don't even remember what all I wrote in this. It's back in September of last year. See Neely almost... We're looking for other CPS cases. Cynthia Absig with... Oh, that's right. And see, yeah, that's another thing. Cynthia Absig that was arrested for plotting to kidnap her son from his foster family. You got Neely retweeting stuff about that because that was also tied back to the EClause stuff. Like I said before, you got basically 2 kidnappings directly tied to this EClause shit. And again, this article's in the description of this video. And that's right, my revoked consent. That's right, Neely was... I'm starting to remember some of this now. Neely was pretty open about her sovereign and EClause beliefs. And Kathy Wilson, this is a woman that went live after she was arrested on that kidnapping. Oh, yeah. And after her arrest on that live video where this woman was talking about her arrest for kidnapping, Kirk Pendergrass was in those comments. Pendergrass doubled down on his lies, claiming there might be some indictments for all involved in her case. Pendergrass was likely referring to a popular but easily debunked QAnon conspiracy that claims there are currently 150,000 sealed indictments to arrest the leaders of an elitist human trafficking cabal. In reality, whoever started that rumor did not understand how to read Pacer, which that links off to a debunking of that. Trump is unsealing them now as we speak, which, remind you, this was back in March. Trump didn't unseal those, at all. Because right there, Kirk's lying. He's full of shit. Pendergrass claimed EClause reported on all 4 states that have been involved back in 2019. He followed with an empty threat. They're going to find out real soon. And they didn't find out. Nothing happened that he was talking about. That Kathy Watson lady that was there when Neely got arrested, she was into the McConnell field report shit that got taken down once his legal situation started to worsen. Maybe I don't have Neely's past shit. But there's Connie Reguli pushing this weird Tom Hanks shit, which was not true at all. Connie Reguli is an attorney over in Tennessee who's facing her own legal charges, and one of her clients are facing them. But this kind of stuff here with Chris, this is what I'm talking about. This is nonsense. This is nonsense. This does not mean anything. You cannot use anything that you're seeing here in a court of law. At all. You can't use one fucking thing. I don't, it doesn't mean anything. This is pure nonsense. Okay, and that's what she was talking about. Actually, here we go. A woman thinks Lords will allow her mistaken release from jail. A woman who is mistakenly released from Berkeley County Jail last week took her unexpected freedom as the Lord's will and is now trying to enlist politicians to help her in a contentious custody fight for her child, her mother said Tuesday. Berkeley County Sheriff's deputies have been looking for 26-year-old Neely Blanchard since a paperwork slip-up allowed her to walk out of Hill Finklia Detention Center on November 25th while awaiting trial on various charges. Sheriff's Captain Rick Ollick said investigators don't have a firm location on her but are running down a number of possibilities. Her mother, Susan Blanchard of St. Augustine, Florida, said her daughter has called her from several phone numbers and she doesn't know where she is. She said she's not sure. Neely knows that deputies are actively looking for her. Ollick, however, said Neely Blanchard was well aware that she is supposed to be in custody. Neely Blanchard is awaiting trial on charges that she tried to drive off with her 4-year-old daughter without permission from Westview Primary School in Goose Creek. And May Blanchard, also charged with drug possession in the incident, does not have legal custody of the child. Custody belongs to the child's paternal grandmother, according to police. So this was another thing where it wasn't a CPS case or anything. They didn't take her child and put it into foster care and keep the child or anything. The kid went to her mother. The kid lived with her grandmother, because a lot of the times these situations, just last night we did that live on Arlena Willis, and Arlena Willis's autistic son is with the father. This isn't children being pulled and taken into CPS custody where they're making all this money off of them, blah blah blah. The child was in family care. The child's they're still in family care. That's what that kidnapping was back in March, was Neely took the child from her mother's care. Order, and I believe she has a few violence things and shit too. Blanchard, who is given addresses in Florida and Kentucky, had been free on $75,000 bail until November 18th when a judge revoked her bond for violating the conditions of her release, court documents show. Among other things, she was accused of getting a friend in Goose Creek 20 Xanax pills to call 911 on November 12th and falsely report that her daughter was being abused at her paternal grandmother's home. The order revoking her bond, however, was placed in her file at the jail, and Blanchard walked free after posting $20,000 bail that had been set on a new charge of filing a false police report. Susan Blanchard said she knew there must have been a mix-up when her daughter called her and said she was free. I said, "You can't leave there. There must be something wrong." She said, "Well, they let me out, and it's the Lord's will, evidently." Yeah. So that like goes back to the 2013 and whatnot. Yeah, Neely's mom has had them like all their lives, basically. No, Kev, I don't know what you guys are doing over there in the chat. None of us called for murder. We all knew this would happen. Not a damn one of us can say we didn't know. That's what I've been saying this whole stream. Like, anybody that's been following this little group of sovereign scam artists, everybody knew somebody was going to get fucking hurt. I mean, that's the only direction this shit was pointing towards. Everybody fucking knew somebody was going to get hurt if you were following this shit. I believe we've said that multiple times in the past on lives, that this is getting to the point where someone is going to get hurt. I never saw this one coming, though. I didn't see one of their quote-unquote clients / victims actually turning on them, and one of them being the victim, actually. But, you know, again, the more, like, when you really think about it, it goes back to what we've been saying this whole life, too, that you're fucking up people's lives, and serious parts of their lives, you know, legal parts of her lives. So it's not, it is shocking, don't get me wrong, it's shocking, but if you really stop and logically think about it, and think about the damage being done, it's not as shocking that this would happen. Linda, that is true, that Neely has assaulted her own mother. And that's why I say Neely wasn't a perfect angel. Like, she isn't some poor victim, never did anything. She was this innocent lamb, and then all of a sudden Chris and Kirk stormed into her life and turned her into this thing. No, man, she was just a perfect victim for them. She had her issues, she had some mental instability, and Chris and Kirk were able to hop in there and pump her head full of their bullshit. And this is where we are now. Which, and you know, if there's I am being told that there's also like a love affair thing going on, so that could have played into it. There's a lot of different things that could have played into it. Maybe she's telling the truth that she stumbled upon them being involved in some pretty serious bad shit, and some sort of self-defense situation arose from that, and maybe she just figured out they were full of shit, and she lost her fucking temper. I don't know. Daniel Lee, old Pastor Lee. Yeah, that dude's a giant piece of shit, too. The problem is, I don't know how much can be done to stop it. Like, the most, I've personally had people thank me for some of the stuff that's been done on this group, and helping them to just stay away from them in general. So, I mean, that's really like all you can do. The hardcore followers, most of them aren't going to walk away or turn their back on them. I mean, that's just something I've come to terms with. They're not really my target audience. My target is more people that don't know yet. That person that maybe found their stuff and is Google searching them and looking up some information on them, like who are these guys, and then they come across some of that shit. That's what my more target audience is, the possible future victims of these people, not the hardcore cult followers that aren't going to believe shit no matter what you put in their face. Because most of the time they're trying to branch off to their own little scam too, so they're not going to fucking admit any sort of fault or anything being wrong. Like, I mean, yeah, the hardcore followers, they'll never be my target. Just because it's pointless, it's wasted energy. But again, people that don't know can still be saved. And I've had people thank me and actually find me from like videos on YouTube and shit like that. And they thanked me because they didn't go get their legal help. So shit like that. And it hasn't been a whole lot. It's been like maybe a dozen-ish over the last little while. I'm sure there's some people that haven't reached out to me, but it doesn't need to be a whole lot. I mean, just stopping that one person, that could be enough to avoid a situation like that, or like that what we're seeing right now. Maybe that one person is the person that would have ended up flipping out and fucking killing someone. It's so, you know, that's the thing. And I've had people ask me that too, because they're like, what the fuck, dude, their followers are crazy. And that's why I even say that it's not their followers that I give a fuck about. I mean, I do, don't get me wrong. If you like, and any of their hardcore followers, if you ever want to inbox me and you want to just compare information and what's out there right now, then I mean, feel free to. When it comes to debating with these different people, I'm not the one that's hiding. Timothy Homeseth blocked me and did lives about me. David Jose blocked me. Francesca Amato blocked me. Francesca Amato hung up on me when we called her. David Straight blocked me. Kirk Pendergrass blocked me. I'm not hiding from these people. Randy Erickson blocked me. All of these people at any point in time are more than invited to come on a live with me. I have all the software to do it. It'll look nice. All you need is a cell phone or a computer and an internet connection. Some headphones would be helpful so it's not echoey. And I send you a link and you will be live with me. That's to all of them. David Jose, Francesca Amato, David Straight, Timothy Homeseth, Randy Erickson, David Lee. Actually, even Pastor David Lee blocked me on Facebook. Like, I'm not the one that's hiding from these pieces of shit. These motherfuckers won't come on alive and answer my questions on real time. So, you know, that in itself speaks a lot. Which actually Kirk did come live with me once, but only once. Since then, Kirk Pendergrass will only block me. He doesn't want to play with me anymore. But, you know, that says a lot right there. I'm not the one hiding. I'm more than welcome to question any of these fuckheads and sit down with them live in front of an audience of both of our peoples. More than welcome at any point in time. And I'll even, you guys see in the background, I have that set up too for like guests and shit. So we can bring up stuff on the screen 100%. But it's up to them if they actually want to come and play. As of now, though, like everything's publicly confirmed. Neely Blanchard is in custody for murdering Chris Hallett. That did happen last night, 9 p.m. She was picked up in Lowndes, Georgia. And so now we wait. She's currently held on homicide charge. Once she gets back to Florida and investigators are actually able to talk to her, that's when they'll decide the actual level, severity, and everything. So right now it's still just homicide, probably upgrade to first degree, second degree murder, or anything like that. Whatever comes from there. David Jose is another one. Sorry to. Oh yeah, David Jose is a terrible piece of shit, and he's a coward. David Jose like blocks me on site. Like 100% just blocks on site. David Jose is a huge piece of shit. But now over the last year, we have multiple kidnappings, a fucking murder. Like, some of y'all need to wake the fuck up. It'll be interesting to see what Kirk has to say about this, and if they'll even address this. But yeah, it's 100% confirmed. While we were doing this live, Marion County Sheriff's Office even updated their Twitter and their Facebook. They updated this, 52 minutes ago. I think that was just after, actually, that detective called me. So while we were live, they did confirm this publicly. Neely Blanchard right now is the main suspect in the murder of Chris Hallett. So I think I'm going to leave that there. I think I have the Marion County Sheriff's Department or Sheriff's Office link in the Facebook. Dodge, yeah, actually, Daily Beast has done Neely Blanchard, and then also me and Will were talking through text that did that article during this live. He actually he's the one that texted me and told me that Twitter updated the information and confirmed Chris Hallett and Neely Blanchard. So up in the description, though, which, by the way, that's Will Somner. He's been getting into the whole Q, Sovereign, Timothy Homeseth, all that shit. He's actually done some pretty good work. I like Will. I don't mind Will at all. Daily Beast isn't always my favorite place, but I like Will. I think he's done a pretty fair job when it comes to all of this stuff. But in the description, I got the Facebook link, I believe. And then I have an article. I have the article I did related to Neely being arrested for the kidnapping. I think those are the only two things in the description. I'm pretty sure those are the two links in the description. That's about it. There's a link that you can tip the live streams if you want to help support these. YouTube monetized me for like a week and a half and then demonetized me, which we've already had that conversation in the past. I'm pretty sure I cuss too much and we cover too weird of shit over on this channel to keep it monetized through YouTube, because YouTube has gotten really, really strict. So that wasn't really a surprise to anybody that's been following that I would be monetized for roughly a week. I've heard people like ask why I don't do the super chat on YouTube and shit, and that's why. It's because YouTube won't let me. We cuss and we watch Sovereigns and like crazy shit. So yeah, apparently we are not the star pupils of YouTube, but whatever. Fuck YouTube. Which I probably will actually set up some other backup channel somewhere in the near future on one of these other like streaming sites. Just because, man, YouTube and Facebook are, who knows? Like, man, that shit is real when it comes to being a content creator, and especially if you're doing any sort of independent media type shit. Anybody that followed me for years knows I used to run the Daily Haze. I lost like 60,000 plus following page for no reason whatsoever on Facebook. So I don't know. That is part of what sucks about all this. Like now YouTube is, even though YouTube and Facebook, companies like that, made all their money off of content creators like myself and others, they're doing this thing where they just treat everyone like shit unless they do exactly what they want them to. So it's just a mess. So I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards Twitch, but man, Twitch honestly seems a bit complicated. I don't know if I want to put all the time into learning Twitch, and like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. But that's just outside thoughts. I think that's about all, though, guys. I don't think we'll know much of an update here probably for at least a week or so. She's in Georgia. I imagine she'll be extradited sometime this week, most likely, like, hopefully. So I don't know. Prosecutors will, well, once she gets there, then investigators will sit down with her. They'll hear her side and everything. Then they'll turn that over to prosecutors, and district attorney will decide what level of murder she's going to be charged with, because currently it's homicide. So if it was like a crime of passion, I don't know. Like, I don't think it would be first degree murder, because like first degrees are really hard to get to stick. You got to show that premeditation. But I mean, who knows? Fuck, who knows? Maybe she did just go there. Maybe she went and got a gun and went there to kill him. We don't know at this moment. Maybe it was first degree. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know at all. But this, oh man, this is crazy. Like, if y'all got people following this stuff, man, you gotta tell them to just think about what they're doing. Because now on top of all the other people getting charges, like, one of the people involved in it was fucking murdered by allegedly one of their victims / clients. Like, this is fucking crazy. This is exactly what we were warning about. This was just gonna like, we knew it. We all knew it, though. We knew somebody was gonna get hurt. Whoever said that earlier is 100% correct. We knew somebody was gonna get fucking hurt. So I don't know. And again, any of the fucking hardcore followers, if you want to inbox me on Facebook on my MekoHaze personal account, not the page, my personal account, and you got questions of why they're frauds, feel free to message me. If I can pull some of you guys away from them, that's excellent. But if you're new to them and you're seeing this and you're just wondering about them, you are even more welcome to message me, because this is fucking crazy, man. Oh shit. So I'm gonna probably try and figure out something else to do. I want to do some of the election conspiracy debunkings, but then this got dropped on my plate, and I got something else that's actually pretty important being dropped on my plate. But I've been getting sent a bunch of information on that other thing while I was on this live, so I need to see what that is. But I'll probably be live again at some point today. Like I said last night, for the last few months, I know I've been saying I'm going to be more active. I wasn't all there the last few months, let's just say. I've went through some things, and I've cut some things out of my life, and I've now made steps to start getting back to my life and what I do. And I've actually made physical steps already, such as bringing in an awesome new roommate, which she's fucking awesome. That helps. So I think now finally we are going to start getting more active and whatnot, and moving more forward. So with this, though, don't think there'll be much of an update. Maybe if Kirk talks about this, maybe I'll follow with that, but for the most part I'll probably wait until I'll probably wait until they get Neely back to Florida from Georgia, and just kind of go from there. See what Neely's side of it is. So, thank you guys for watching. Amber, if you're still out there, I know your relationship with your father, Chris, was not great from what it sounds like. I still condolences. Just overall, yeah, I don't know, guys. You guys be good, and we will see you. Lockdown in Washington starting at midnight tonight. Really? I'm actually going to look at that. But yeah, you guys be good. Thanks for watching, and we will see you later.